The Valley Green Vegan Podcast for Born Again Eaters is brought to you by Valley Green Naturals, a natural ingredient manufacturing company producing head-to-toe personal care products for clean living. Stay tuned to the end of this podcast for a special offer from Valley Green Naturals just for our listeners. Hey everyone, welcome to Valley Green Vegan. I'm Cindy, and today we are lucky Amberlee is back from being under the weather and joining us. She is sitting in Australia, and it's about 12:42 in the morning there, right?
Yeah, 1:45 in the morning. Technically Sunday morning. Yeah.
Yep. And this is the best time difference that we actually have during the year. Sometimes it goes up to a 16-hour time difference. It gets difficult to put things together and connect, but we manage. And for those of you who have not heard our prior podcasts, Amberlee is a former chef. She worked in Washington, D.C. and in Virginia as a sous chef. And then she moved to Sydney, Australia, and was a head chef there, and then has worked in different venues doing casual, what's it called, casual dining, right, in towns in New South Wales. And she's been on a plant-based diet really for many years, whereas I, her mom, am a relatively new vegan, having transitioned in January of this year, about 5.5 months ago. And I have completely gotten into exploring all of the new culinary adventures of eating vegan and living on a plant-based diet.
So this week, I actually really would like to discuss jackfruit. I'm kind of on a little bit of a jackfruit binge here, so I've been experimenting with it lately. So just some fun facts here, but first thing, I wanted to say it is a fruit, and it's found in many parts of Asia, and it gained popularity due to its sweet taste and many health benefits. So the flesh isn't the only edible part. You can actually eat the seeds, and
Cool.
The seeds contain high levels of starch, protein, vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, as well as there's really important your B vitamins, the thiamine and the riboflavin.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Well, and I know, too, you actually, while you were sick, you cooked up some really amazing jackfruit barbecue and coleslaw just in time for us to celebrate the 4th of July here. And it's posted on the Valley Green Vegan blog. So that was amazing. I mean, it looks and tastes exactly like regular pulled pork barbecue. If people are transitioning and really enjoyed pulled pork barbecue, jackfruit is truly an amazing, versatile fruit.
It really is. This is the first time I've really cooked with it, and I have already started brainstorming all these ideas that you could use jackfruit for. Even like jerky. I even was researching. I wonder if you can make vegan jerky with jackfruit, and you can actually.
Cool idea.
So, yeah, that would be really fun to experiment with.
Yeah. When you had mentioned the seeds, I know you were telling me all of the different uses for the seeds.
Yeah, so I was going to go a little bit more into the jackfruit and how wonderful it is. So, how I just mentioned before, they're very high in concentration of the two B vitamins, so thiamine and riboflavin, which we all know are really important for providing the body for energy and for healthy production of red blood cells.
Right.
And that kind of goes hand in hand with energy, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You need red blood cells to produce oxygen.
Right. Well, and it's important for vegans too, because I take B12 a few times a week actually, because we don't always get
important.
Yeah, we don't always get the vitamin B.
Yeah, so those two B12s, they help for the healthy production of red blood cells and to support healthy red blood cells. Okay, so on to the next thing I want to point out about the jackfruit.
Can I ask one question about the seeds? How would you prepare the seeds? Do you roast them like you would like pumpkin seeds?
Well, I was going to go into mention that a little bit in the next couple ones.
Okay.
I just wanted to touch on, how we're about the healthy gut.
Yep.
And you've mentioned, what is that saying that your doctor...
Oh,
about the poo?
It's Dr. Bolsowitz. I've heard him on the Exam Room podcast, and he's really funny. He talks about healthy poops and the microbiome, and he says big poops, little hospitals, little poops, big hospitals, because you want to have a good movement every day, basically.
here's the cool thing about the jackfruit seeds and the healthy gut. So they offer fiber and resistant starch for both that pass through your system undigested, and they get used as food for the beneficial bacteria, which is a great thing. Let's see here. Little cool thing is that they've been used in Chinese medicine as an aphrodisiac. Imagine that.
Wow.
So there you go. A vegan aphrodisiac, if you're ever wondering.
There's some pretty amazing stuff in Chinese medicine. I'm telling you, they find a lot of aphrodisiacs and things. But that's very interesting.
Yeah. So the seeds you had asked just before how to eat them. Well, they are usually pretty soft. Like, I was breaking them up in the jackfruit barbecue. Oh. Yeah, you just cook them with the rest of the jackfruit.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I haven't.
I wonder, roasting them might be kind of interesting to give it a try, because I love roasted pumpkin seeds, as a snack. And I'm wondering, I'll have to give that a shot and see what that's like. Your dad and I, we think that we have found where we can buy jackfruit, like real jackfruit, not the canned kind. We have a big world market type of grocery store that's in Manassas, which is about 45 minutes from here. And
I know.
Yeah.
Very familiar with that store.
Yeah.
I miss it.
Yeah. So we're going to check it out. But before that, I actually started looking, where could I find canned jackfruit? Because I haven't been able to find it in the grocery store. It's crazy. I don't know why I can't get it here. But
Trader Joe's would probably have it. Whole Foods might have it.
Okay.
And any of your like specialty vegetarian or like gourmet, or not gourmet, your health food shops, they would probably have jackfruit. Yeah.
I did look on Amazon, and you can buy it by the case on Amazon.
An Asian market would probably have jackfruit as
True.
well. An Asian market store. Yeah.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, because the fruit is from Vietnam, right? Southeast Asia, isn't it? I think.
Well, it really didn't give me a specific when I was looking up the research and doing a little research about it. It just said it was found in many parts of Asia. Okay. So I'm assuming that it's actually quite abundant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I know
it's huge.
Yeah, I know. I saw the pictures of them online, actually, and it's a really unusual looking fruit. And when Dad and I went out to a doctor's appointment out near Reston, there is a vegan restaurant out there called Green Fare, and it's a really, really good place to eat. And they serve a barbecue jackfruit sandwich there, and Dad ordered it and loved it. He said it was fantastic. And just so that everyone knows, and Amberlee certainly knows this, my husband, her dad, has a history of making like the best, tastiest barbecue on the face of the earth, just saying. And that was back when we were carnivores, and he would smoke like a pork butt all night long, and it actually was an all-night production for him to make this barbecue. And everyone who has eaten it says it's the best barbecue they've ever had. So his bar is set very high for what he thinks is good barbecue, and he enjoyed that sandwich. He thinks that he could probably make it even better with his own sauce recipe. So yeah,
for sure.
And yours,
he should compete in a barbecue competition.
I think that's a great idea, because your recipe is now on there, and maybe we should post let Dad do we'll do a taste testing thing and do both of them, and invite some.
Even back home against other barbecuers.
Oh, right. Oh, right. Yeah. Well, they were telling me a story in this restaurant that I thought was really cute. This family came in, apparently, and the family, they were all vegan. The grandfather they brought with them was not vegan, and he had no idea that they were going to a vegan restaurant, and they told him, Dad, you're going to love this barbecue. You got to order the barbecue. So he did. And when he was eating it, the server was telling us this later, he had absolutely no idea that he was eating jackfruit. Like, he didn't have a clue. He thought it was real, pork barbecue. Yeah. Texture and all.
It really is. I love it. I freaking love it.
Yeah.
The texture is awesome. And same with like oyster mushrooms. It's on my list of things to experiment with, and when it comes to trying to reproduce something vegan, make it as close as possible to like a meat texture.
Yes. Well, I think I might have mentioned to you a while back, I found a recipe for making scallops, quote scallops, from
Yes.
oyster
Yeah.
mushrooms. Yeah, you cut the stems and you cook them just like you would, saute them just like you would scallops, which I thought sounded so good. And then serve them over some linguine, with like a lemon basil sauce. How good would that be? Like,
Yeah.
some garlic in there. Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's on my bucket list to definitely give it a shot, because I think that's gonna be a delicious meal. And we used to be big scallop eaters too. So I kind of miss that a little bit.
Think of I like to think of food as like yin and yang. So like there's the meat eating or vegetarian, the animal byproduct, when you're vegetarian, but then vegan. So it's like yin and yang,
Right.
We're like polar opposites at this.
That's a good way to look at it, actually, because it really is. It truly is. I mean, when you're an omnivore, carnivore,
it's
omnivore.
yin and yang of food.
Yeah. It's very, very different. And I remember, when I would like go to prepare dinner for the family, and I'd have to think about, okay, what's my main meal going to be? It was always some type of meat. It was chicken, it was beef, it was fish, it was something, and everything, the side dishes had to complement that main dish. Now, I look at my meals completely differently. I might have a sweet potato as my main, the main part of my meal. And then the other sides and things are, an amazing pasta salad that has broccoli in it and some black beans and some chickpeas and,
Like with back to the yin and yang, I always think that there's a substitute for everything. So the meat version, there's going to be a substitute for the vegan.
Yes.
And then that's where I was like, this is almost like, parallel universes or
alternative universe
in a way.
Yeah, I was just going to say
that's
that.
what I was finding. Ever since I started to have like food sensitivities, in high school, and just playing with food, I started to realize you can actually substitute anything and make the polar opposite of the same dish in a way.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to put down?
Yeah, I do. I mean, that's why I call it a culinary adventure, because I always have loved to cook. And this is shameful, but for years and years, I took real pride in the fact that I used real heavy cream. I used real butter. I used, anything that was cholesterol laden, high calorie, high fat, because it made everything taste so good. And like I said in one of my recipes I posted, I was like, I wasn't trying to poison us all, honestly. I wasn't trying to poison, my family or the people who were gushing, compliments about my cooking. I just didn't know better. And I never really stopped to think about the long-term effects that kind of food was having on our health until I, was going through those cancer treatments. And then I got desperate to find a holistic means of dealing with inflammation from cancer treatments. And that's really what turned the corner for me, was doing a little bit of research on plant-based eating and what it can do for your body and how you can reverse things. You can reverse high blood pressure, you can reverse high cholesterol, you can reverse damage to your DNA, you can reverse damage to your heart. So yeah, it is like a yin and yang in that way too, as far as your health goes, because my world changed so much when I transitioned to a 100% plant-based diet. I mean, I can't tell you, the future's so bright, I gotta wear shades, honestly.
Well, now that you had mentioned, how when you found out you had cancer and you had to go through the treatments and you started to learn more about your health, then to touch on the jackfruit, one of the points I wanted to mention is that some studies have suggested that the jackfruit seeds may have several anti-cancer properties.
Oh, awesome.
And this is believed due to their high levels of plant compounds and antioxidants, so specifically like the flavonoids and how did you pronounce the other one? Saponins? And saponin.
I think that's how it is, yeah.
And phenolics in particular. And those studies showed that those plant compounds may help fight inflammation. And I thought this one you might actually be interested in hearing. May help fight inflammation, enhance your immune system, and even repair DNA damage.
That's amazing.
So there was a recent test tube study found that the jackfruit seed extract reduced the formation of cancerous blood vessels. Extract, reduced the formation of cancerous blood vessel by 61%.
Wow.
So
wow.
So
that's really
that was
really interesting.
But because the research is limited and more research is needed to say whether jackfruit seeds have anti-cancer effects in people, still needs to be done.
Yeah.
But there is that little bit of hope, and some research out there suggests. And I got my information from ResearchGate.net and PubMed.
Okay.
.ncbi. I can actually upload these onto the blog if anyone was ever interested. I can post where I find my little.
Yeah, we'll upload that link in the show description. Sure, absolutely. I think that would be really helpful to people. It's interesting. I'm thinking you're mentioning this extract, and I'm thinking perfect ingredient for a smoothie in the morning, right? And not to change the subject off jackfruit, but you just reminded me of something that I read. Amberlee knows, but our listeners might not know. I have a very long time skincare company where we've produced all natural lotions and body care products for about 14 years now, and grew the company very big, and we were in Whole Foods market stores and so on. And I did a lot of research on different ingredients and different extracts. And something that I ran across years ago that I thought was really interesting was eggplant extract applied directly to skin. There is a compound in the eggplant extract that actually can reverse squamous cell and what's the lowest level of cancer? I've forgotten. It's not melanoma. That's the really bad one, but it's basal cell and squamous cell carcinomas. And also they're called keratoses that are like little patches on people's skin as you get older. You can actually reverse those. And I thought, what the heck? I'm going to give it a try, because I had a few of those little keratoses and I have very fair skin, and so if I see something odd growing, I put a little eggplant extract on a cotton ball and use it every day for about a month, and darned if that thing doesn't go away. I mean, it's amazing, and the FDA won't ever let anybody approve anything like that here in this country unless, it's a big drug company.
Make your own eggplant extract.
I can, and it was being done in Australia, but the problem is you can't market it and sell it as something that treats, because then it's considered a drug and you have to have a drug license to do that, and then you have to get FDA approval, and it's a big, long, expensive mess. So I've used it just for myself, but I thought that was super interesting. It was a big study that was done in Britain with the...
Can you call it a tincture?
Well, a tincture would be something that you take internally. So this is just something on the outside of the skin, I believe. I don't know. It's worth looking into. I've always wanted to kind of expand on that in some way, because it truly does work. And I don't have the big
balm?
A balm. Oh yeah, that's what they were doing.
They have lemon hand balm, or
yeah, you might actually see it in Australia, because I know that in Australia there was a product for sale that was specifically with this compound that came from eggplant extract that people could use. It was like an over-the-counter kind of thing that people could use to get rid of the keratoses, and it was very cool. So anyway, getting back to your jackfruit, I apologize for interrupting you with that, but you just made me remember the eggplant extract story.
No. I just wanted to quickly mention, though, that the little key points I just made about the anti-cancer properties and the research, the information that I got this from, they are peer-reviewed articles. So they're some of the most reliable source of information out there when you're looking for or researching any topic really involving anything. If you really want to get a good perspective and a reliable source, it would be peer-reviewed articles on Google Scholar.
Well, I'm going to be experimenting quite a bit more with jackfruit, because I love all these new ideas.
Apparently it's sweet too.
Yeah.
So it first got its popularity from sweet, and I was surprised by it. Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's really amazing. Because it is such a versatile fruit. And now you've got me thinking, I wonder what kind of dessert things we could do with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm learning about using dates, as a sweetener and things. And I
love dates.
Yeah, I do too. The funny thing is, I never used to like dates. I never did before. And what happened was, I mentioned that book, How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Gregory. Or Dr. Michael Greger, sorry. And it's a fantastic book, but he also has a cookbook that is like the sister book that goes with that. And in that book, there is a recipe for these
How to live.
Chocolate brownies, actually, that are sweetened with dates. And they are so good. So good.
The dates would give them a nice chewy,
and
texture.
Sweet, yeah. And you just put some unsweetened cocoa in there. And those I'm going to post on the website eventually. That is Dr. Greger's recipe, so I need to give credit to him and link to his site. But that is a really fun thing to work with. The dates are phenomenal now. Like, I've got a big, huge container of them downstairs. So I've been experimenting with them and smoothies and all kinds of things. And then the other thing too that I remember you telling me on the subject of sweets was the chia pudding. No, the chia pudding.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, I love chia seeds.
I tried that too, and I threw a bunch of blueberries and raspberries into it, and oh my gosh, so good. So yeah, that's something that I need to experiment more with sweet things because I haven't quite entered that realm yet. But anyway, was there more that you wanted to say about jackfruit before I move on? About my
those were the fun little points that I thought were really the most interesting and relatable.
Very cool.
About jackfruit. I'll be posting on the blog on Monday, Tuesday with a few more nibbles using oyster mushrooms and jackfruit and what was the other one that I mentioned? Cauliflower buffalo wings.
I love cauliflower wings.
Summertime barbecue season back home.
Yeah, I love cauliflower wings.
The cool thing is, too, I'll mention that it'll be within a budget range as well. So budget-friendly barbecue nibbles recipe.
Yeah.
There'll be a couple ones that I'll post.
The nibble recipes are fun.
Keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah. Well, we've got a lot of grilling days ahead, too. I mean, our grilling season here in the States goes all the way through Labor Day and beyond, depending on where you live.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've got 100-degree weather out right now. I don't know how much grilling we're going to be doing outside right now, but yeah, it's fun to have those little snacks, too. I mean, those are the kinds of things that you can prepare and just kind of put away in the fridge, pull them out, warm them up.
Yeah. And budget-friendly, particularly during these times, like these expensive times. So.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Everything is crazy expensive right now all over, especially there where you are. I think it's much higher and a little more difficult.
It's one of the most expensive places in the world to live.
Yes, it's because you're so remote from all of us. My daughter had to move 16 hours away and live beneath the equator in a different season.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if I subconsciously exiled myself.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Well, I know you miss home an awful lot, but it is beautiful there where you are, and at least you can see the ocean all the time too, which is something not everybody here.
Yes, I'm right next to the beach.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very nice.
Beaches
and sharks.
Yeah.
Lots of sharks.
Yeah.
Well, they've had this is totally off the subject of vegan eating, but they've had a lot of close shark incidents more recently, and they think that it has to do with some of the global warming that's going on and the change in temperature of the oceans. But the sharks seem to be coming in more and more at least on the East Coast. I don't know about the West Coast, but
Florida, was it?
Yeah, well, it's been in the news a lot, up and down the entire East Coast, all the way up to New York, actually. And one of the things that I've learned a lot more about since transitioning to a plant-based diet is the effect on the environment. And it's something that I can feel really good about in reducing factory farming. And I think with more and more people, I think this is happening in more populations, there are more people interested in transitioning to plant-based. And it can be for health reasons, it can be for environmental reasons, it can be for ethical reasons. They're all good reasons. And I feel like I'm doing my tiny little part now, to help the environment. But moving on, I wanted to talk a little bit about my lentil lasagna that I posted yesterday on our food blog. And I was actually, before we started recording, I was talking to Amberlee about this and my experience with vegan cheese. And I'm not a fan, okay? Like, I just gotta say, before transitioning, I was an absolute cheeseaholic. I was addicted to every kind of cheese there is on the face of the earth, loved them all. They did not love me because they were not good for my health. But I thought that switching to vegan cheese was the answer, and it really has not been for me. Now, that's not to say that there aren't some decent vegan cheeses out there, and that's one of the things that Amberlee and I were talking about. There are different brands that melt better. There are different brands that taste better. For instance, the mozzarella that I used with one brand, I absolutely cannot stand it. But that particular brand also makes like a Mex Mix cheese that's like a fake cheddar, and it's got some like pepper jack in it, and it's great for a light spread and enchiladas and things like that. And I do like that one. So I think it depends on taste and texture and so on. But I made this vegan lentil lasagna, and I posted this, and you're not going to believe this, but never in my 60 years of living have I made lasagna, ever. And so this was a whole new adventure for me. And I thought, okay, well, I'm on this new culinary road. I might as well try to make this dish that is so beloved and popular by so many people. And I bought the oven ready, lasagna, and I read all the instructions on how to layer lasagna. Now, the best part of this lasagna was not the vegan cheese. The first round of it, I did not like at all. The second round, I left out the vegan cheese and I doubled up on the vegan ricotta. It's a ricotta alternative made with almond milk. And it was so, so good. So what I ended up doing, I told Amberlee too, this was another thing. I was a lentil-free eater before turning vegan. I had never eaten a single lentil in my life until becoming vegan. And now I'm obsessed with lentils because they're so incredibly good. So I mixed in lentils, diced tomatoes, lots of Italian seasoning, and some onions, and made this fantastic lentil lasagna with the ricotta alternative. So that's posted on our blog. It was really, really good. I'm very pleased with how it turned out. And then there's another one that was my favorite this week that my husband unfortunately ate all of. I only got 2 servings out of this giant bowl of this pasta salad that I made, but he loved it so much. I was very happy about that. And it's called Cowboy Caviar Roni, is what I named it. And it's basically a twist on what they call Texas caviar or cowboy caviar. And it's you can switch it up and put some different things in there, but I use black-eyed peas and black beans, so it's loaded with fiber, and onions, tomatoes. And then I boiled up some just simple macaroni noodles and added those, and then tossed it with this really yummy little dressing that I made with some apple cider vinegar and lemon juice, and so, so good. There is a call for honey in this, so vegans obviously don't eat honey. And so next to that in the recipe, I listed maple syrup instead. So you can substitute the honey with 2 tablespoons of maple syrup.
Be able to use agave maybe as well?
Yeah, and that would make a good substitute. What I've been doing is using maple syrup. I don't use as much because it's really sweet, but it's actually a really good substitute as well. But give those recipes a try, and definitely check out Amberlee's vegan barbecue and coleslaw. And she also mentioned to me a recommendation for when she used her coleslaw for the mayonnaise that she used, because it's a vegan mayonnaise.
Yeah. So I grew up with Hellmann's mayonnaise, and no other mayonnaise was acceptable to me. Okay, it all tasted
different,
weird,
different.
Yeah, just weird. Anyways, so when I saw that Hellmann's had a vegan mayonnaise, I was so happy. So I jumped on it and I used it in the coleslaw. Well, it was awesome. You wouldn't be able to really tell the difference at all. It's 100% plant-based, and you can find it here in Australia. You can find them at Woolworths, at Harris Farm, or any kind of food specialty shop, I'm sure, and Amazon.com.au and .com as well. So
yeah, and you mentioned too that they sell it on the shelf, whereas I was buying vegan mayonnaise. I buy the Follow Your Heart Veganaise at Wegmans.
It's sold on the shelf.
Yeah, which is nice, because every time I go into Wegmans and I try to buy a big jar of the Follow Your Heart Veganaise, it's always sold out. It's very popular, and you have to store that one in the refrigerator. You can't put it on your shelf. And so if I do see it, I'm sorry to say I hoard it. and I'll buy, like 2 or 3 jars of it because, we live out in the country and getting back to that store can be difficult. And I use this quite a bit for some of my ranch dressing, mixes and things like that. So I'm happy to hear that Hellmann's actually has a shelf-stable vegan mayonnaise. So I'm definitely going to look for that here because I was always a big Hellmann's fan as well, as you know, because you were raised in our family where we only ate Hellmann's. And on the west coast, it was called.
It's the best mayonnaise.
It is. When I was growing up, it was called Best Foods because I lived out in Oregon, and
we have Best.
Do you have Best Foods?
We have Best.
Yeah, same company.
So, so we have Hellmann's and Best Foods here, and Best Foods is exactly the same.
The label even looks the same. Yeah. When we moved eastward, we were like, "Where's the Best Foods mayonnaise?" And the grocery store, it was all called Hellmann's. And so I thought that was odd that the West Coast had Best Foods and the East Coast had Hellmann's. But in any event, glad to hear that they've got a vegan mayo, and I'm looking forward to buying it and using it. So
I love it. I love it. So good.
Yeah. Well, and I mentioned before, I make that vegan ranch dressing using a vegan mayonnaise, and it has 0 cholesterol. At least the one that I'm using has 0 cholesterol in it, which makes me feel better about using it. I try to avoid too much oil in my diet because I'm still losing weight. And, I eat nuts every day. I eat all of the good healthy oils, but I do try to avoid extra fat in my diet. But that ranch dressing recipe that I have, if you check out our website, the quick and creamy ranch pasta salad, that stuff is so good. It's so good. And it works for like dips for any kind of other things that you make. Some of these nibbler things that Amberlee is talking about that she's going to post, this would make a great dip for that too. So
it's vegan mayonnaise too. When I looked at the nutritional information, it was really low in fat and saturated fat. Although it was quite high in sodium. Or was it sodium?
Probably. Yeah, because the Follow Your Heart is high in sodium also.
I think so, yeah. I have to have another look on that, but I'll post that with these recipes. I'll mention that.
Awesome. Yeah, we can post a link to that as well in the show description. So if somebody wants to check out the ingredient list on it and the nutrition facts, that would be helpful.
And just to quickly mention, I heard you say before that you hoard the veganese when you see that they have a supply of them on shelves, and just so you know, you're not labeled as one of a Karen, like in the toilet paper crisis we had, and you leave some for other customers because I'm sure since it's quite popular. Right. Amazon as well, and even like wholesalers, if you get online, I have found if you really want something, like a lot of something, you can possibly even source it from a wholesaler distributor and buy it from them, and you can get it at cost price, and you get like a bulk. You get it all in bulk. Any wholesaler distributor.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, I couldn't hoard too much of it, though, at any given time because it was refrigerated, and I wouldn't have enough room in my fridge for all these big jars of mayonnaise. So I would buy like 2. For me, that's hoarding. But anyway.
That's just being greedy, actually.
Yeah. Well, I use it. So we're running out of time today, and I just want to say thank you to everybody so much for listening. We really appreciate it. We're going to try to upload some more podcasts very soon. Like I mentioned, it's tough sometimes for us to get together because of the time difference, but we're going to make it work. And we are uploading more and more recipes all the time to our blog. So please do check that out and subscribe to our website. It's valleygreenvegan.com, and you can find this podcast on any of your platforms that you like, Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, we're out there. So do check us out. And for now, thanks very much. And Amberlee?
Yeah, thank you for listening.
Okay, we'll talk to you again soon. Ciao.
Bye.
Hey guys, just a little postscript I wanted to mention. Many of us who are looking to live a clean and natural lifestyle are always on the lookout to avoid toxins in our daily lives. Even before I was diagnosed with cancer in 2017, I always tried to eat a healthy diet of organic foods and use clean ingredient products, cleaning materials, things like that. I was so into the natural and organic lifestyle that I actually started a company that produces clean ingredient body care products. That was 13 years ago, and my company, Valley Green Naturals, is still going really strong today. So what started as a soap making hobby in my farmhouse kitchen all those years ago has actually grown into a fairly good sized company, and we have over 30 products, and we make everything from soaps to facial care to deodorants. They're all natural, body lotions and bug repellents even. Everything is made with plant-derived natural ingredients. So if you're looking to reduce the toxins in your personal care products, I just thought I would mention valleygreennaturals.com. And for anyone listening to this podcast, you can use promo code HEALTHY at checkout to receive a 15% discount off your first order. So that's valleygreennaturals with an S.com, or you can simply click the link in the episode description below.